We are back. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting. Red team and who let Vince play. Uh, they are ready and in draft. They've done map bans already. They're ready to go. I mean, they were waiting on a couple members. Once they're back, they just pedal to the metal. So no fancy introduction or anything. We're just gonna jump right into the draft. Infernal Shrines again. Kerrigan first pick. Sylvanas, Cigar, banned out. Arthas, do we have the makings of the Magic Card composition again?
I mean, they had to have been watching the stream, right? You can't. Oh my god, this draft they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing.
I mean, reckless. It's just thrown caution to the wind. Just like, hey, we're gonna play the game the way we want to play it, and you can see it coming or not. Red team has to be like, all right, they had to watch the last game, right? Rich Hero was in the chat. I had to apologize to him because I had the numbers wrong. He was there. You can move some hay. Rip. We're going to see Falstad Johanna get picked up. Now, as we remember, Kerrigan and Falstad are two heroes that Red Team know how to use to great effect. So, the downside of going for this unusual composition is that you're opening yourself up to your enemy team getting the exact kind of composition that they want. Red Team's done that so far.
Yeah, and they have the pickoff potential with the Kerrigan. They have the wave clear potential, and I think that Johanna is going to offer disruption if Who Let Vince Play again tries to go for this all melee style of play. I like that Uther ban. It's going to guarantee that there's no save potential, but Red Team bans Chen. They identified Chen as a critical component of that Wombo combo.
The respect ban. Well, it's respect, and it's also like, all right, show us something else. Show us you got more up your sleeve than this Magic Card shenanigans. So they're gonna ban out Chin. Who let Vince play? They're gonna have to come up with something a little different here. Got a couple of heroes to pick. They're going into their time pool, mulling it over. And they seemingly opt to stay the course, Cavalier Guest. You're going to pick up Thrall.
So they should lock Tatsar in here if they're going for that again, staying the course. The question is, what's the surprise last pick going to be? What are they going to replace Chen with? I mean, can you really replace a Raging Alcoholic?
Rexar.
Just because he's a half-orc. Racist. Heard here first. Lauren believes that all half-orcs are drunks.
No, I'm just saying. Well, I mean, Diablo doesn't have the self-sustain. I'm specifically talking about the merits of the composition in the game. Thank you very much. I'm just saying you need some kind of self-sustain to make this oddball design work. Rexar has that in Misha and can kick out some serious numbers with the Burning Rage, the Burning Bear, the Upgrade Bear. Maybe Sonya. Sonya's strong on this map. I mean, they've really just gambled it all on this composition because Red Team has gotten a beast of a composition.
They really have, though. They have wave clear. The only thing they're really lacking is someone who can counter Thrall in lane. But other than that, I think that they have the global pressure. They have the fuel for Ariel's healing with the Lunara. They have the blow-up potential with the Kerrigan, especially followed by the Johanna Condemn. It's going to be amazing fishing through the walls when they win the Punishers, because I don't think the early game Who Let Vince Play can deny the Punishers to the Kerrigan composition. But who's going to replace Chen? I want to know.
Like I said, Rexar or Sonya would be my guesses. You need some kind of self-sustain. Well, Could it be Artanis?
Maybe. I wouldn't be
Suppression
terribly
pulse?
surprised to see Artanis. Maybe they think Zool can fill that niche as well. Medivh would be an option. Just go try support. They invested in the Thrall last time. They can invest in the Thrall again.
Okay.
It's going to be Sonya, the second best Shrine Babysitter after Kerrigan. I think that makes a little more sense than anything else. And we were trying to predict what Vince would do, and they went standard on us, which in some ways was the most unpredictable thing they could have done.
I mean, who let Vince play as... I'm blue screened. I am still amazed at how that last game went. And I'm still amazed that they just were like, we're picking the exact same composition in the exact same order. Red team is like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, like, say goodbye to Chin. And they were like, okay, like, we're just going to keep picking the same composition. And we're going to finish it out with Sonya. And arguably, Sonya is a stronger choice than Shin in some regards, especially for this map. I don't know, man. I have no insightful commentary. I just... They've got me. They've got me this time. I just don't know how this is going to go. I would say this. Red team are no slouches. Not the Scary Latin Words by any stretch of the imagination either. But Falstad and Kerrigan have done wonders for them. And it hasn't mattered what composition they were going against. It didn't matter how much sustain the other team had. Can Red team continue that magic? I mean, they've gotten everything that they've wanted.
And these are not only comfort heroes for them, but they're heroes that are strong on the map. They're heroes that we've seen them play again and again and again today.
Right. Like, I genuinely... I'm not even going to make any guesses. I'm not... With who let Vince play, I'm not making any guesses. It's anybody's game. But I just don't see how this composition holds up against what Team Red has here. But we're going to find out. Game 1. Make sure we're tabbed over. On the left side, the red team in blue. BO171. Oh, no. On the left side, it's who let Vince play. What am I talking about? Who let Vince play? BO171 on Tassadar. Edward Torres on Arthas. Totally Miles on Brightwing. Dirty Boy Dev on Sonya. Interconnect playing Thrall.
And for Red Team, finally, actually the Red Team, Kawhi Rice and Falstad, Zagrog and Johanna, Enfu and Ariel, Rich Hero on the Nara, and Howin on Kerrigan. For some reason, I forgot how to pronounce his name for a second there. That was weird.
I don't know.
Caster things.
A little bit of poke action. Falstad flies in. Do you see the B step here on Tat? This is a cheeky team right here. Are you kidding me? Showing all kinds of personality and flair. Red team's on notice.
Are indeed. Standard talents pretty much across the board. No big surprises considering that they're pretty much similar to what we saw last game. Swift Sweep picked up for Enfu. That's going to make him able to be a lot more aggressive with that W. Nice combo on Hume, but they're in a situation where they're on top of an Arthas and they didn't immediately get the kill. They're going to have to be forced to back out of that. Very good positioning right now from Edward Torres, zoning for his team. Dirty Boy Dev in the top lane is going to get wrecked by Rich Hero. In lane is going to play very, very passively. Sonya can be a good solo laner against heroes who aren't ranged, but against heroes who are ranged, it often becomes a very difficult matchup for her.
Yeah, and the main sustainer she has this early in the game is being able to spin on the minions, but that's a dicey prospect when you have Lunara melt in your face with poison, so Sonya stands to get bullied pretty hard. Kerrigan did rotate up there for a second. It's going to come down and meet the rest of their compatriots in the mid lane. Edward Torres the target. No one make that totally Miles Kerrigan combination lands. Brightwing.
And I'd like to point out the Brightwing was like literally on her minion wave, which means that combo got her and the minion wave at the same time. Tassadar was like, oh, I was going to put my storm there anyway. Thanks very much. Try not to stand in your minion wave against a Kerrigan. There's some variants, but try not to stand in your minion wave versus a Kerrigan, because she will combo you and the wave and be very happy. That's a DC on Arthas. Probably get a pause there. Yeah.
Young pause. Eretorus has left the game. Jump back to us for the moment. I mean, red team has shown some ability so far. They got the kill on Brightwing. They've shown they know how to pull the trigger. Brightwing does not have the mobility yet. Does not have the Emerald Wind with which to save their own face. So I'm wondering if that's going to inspire a little bit more passive play. We do those like Edward Torres is back. So no, leave the game again. Now his name is like not even a color. All right. Interesting. He's like, you ready? Left the game. You ready? Left the game. I don't know what's going on here. Some technical issues. We'll get those sorted out. But yeah, do you think that red team's aggression is going to force this Magikarp setup to play differently?
I mean, this is what Scarlet and Warriors needed to do and didn't do. They needed to get these early picks. They needed to establish their dominance on the map. And if you can get ahead enough, like there's no reason that a Kerrigan comp versus this sort of wonky comp that's depending on his their heroics can't get 3 levels ahead if they manage to get enough picks. They only need like 5 or 6 picks for level 10 to get 13 to 10. And then from that point onward, they can just soak carefully, always be up a talent tier, always win the Punisher. And they're going to be in really, really good shape. Dirty Boy Dev gets condemned here a little bit. Hayun going straight for the Shrine, not even going to try and go for that kill. They want to get on it. They are level 4, whereas Who Let Vince Play is not. So they're just trying to race the Shrine as fast as possible. Once you're sufficiently ahead on the Shrine, there's no possibility any team can take it away. Dirty Boy sitting in the bush, but the Wisp is there, gets Detainment striked, and just Kerrigan babysitting the Shrine. Everyone else done for 30, 31, 30.
Sit up here as well. Are the double supports going to try to force Faust out of the lane? They just might.
Maybe if Brightwing had gone Dream Shot at level 1, it does add up to a lot of damage. But just in a 1v1 scenario, Totally Miles just eating that hammering, giving Falstad 2 free stacks, and Arthas going down to the Kerrigan combo and the Detainment strike in the mid lane.
I mean, Edward Torres' positioning is going to have to make some adjustments on that front. He was on the other side of the map while everyone on the side of red team were on his. He had nowhere to go. Detainment strike's going to secure the 3rd takedown of the game for the red team in red this time. OCD fans alike. You know, I feel better about that the red team's on the red side now.
And you do still have Totally Miles versus Quirus in the top lane. Quirus is eventually going to push this lane in just because his wave clear is a little bit better. And again, getting free stacks on Totally Miles. That top well is up, by the way, and that's going to be a factor the next time there's top shrine. But another Kerrigan combo in the mid lane. Dirty Boy Dev gets Whirlwind out, but condemned. He does still manage to get out with that Tassadar shield. Nice save by B1071. They don't quite get to pick off the Sonya. That would have been so clutch right before the shrine started to get that kill.
Somewhat of an opportunity missed there by the red team. They do start to try and help themselves to a generous 10 defender lead, and Rising Hayun on Kerrigan getting all kinds of value. Interconnector is going to rotate down, help clear out this bottom wave. It does not look like Who Let Vince Play has too much of an interest in going in on even talent tiers. Are they just late to the party? I feel like this might be a mistake on their part.
Only 6 Shrine minions left to go for red team, and they can get that pretty much any way they want to. Honestly, they have the explosiveness from Boomerang at 7 on Falstad. They can come back in here. They're going to zone them out. They have Condemn. There's just no possibility that this Shrine does anything but go over to them. They have level 10. And this is what they needed to do. They need to get the picks. Edward Torres is out of position. That is an Arthas out of position. No mobility whatsoever. He's 100% going to go down. And pushing now with the Punisher into these towers that are completely out of ammo. The gate is already down. Interconnect going to go down. Maybe no. Lunara Poison not enough to finish him off. But they're going to get this fort, and as a result of that, they're going to get a 2, potentially 2.5 level lead with the Falstad soaking in the mid lane.
I mean, all considered, Who Let Vince Play are fortunate to have only lost what they did. Because they go into the bottom shrine area way late. 34 defenders are already picked up, and heroics were in sight. They put themselves in a situation where they're going to get stuck in a tight corridor against Kerrigan, who has their, and the team that has their heroics. Like, they could have easily been wiped there, I feel. So they get away with that. Get the bottom fort, rotate up mid. You see red team do what they can. Get the middle wall and just back away. They don't want to overstay their welcome. Nice job on their part.
I like the fact that they prioritized that well, and as soon as 10 hit, they immediately backed off. Just get a really good play from red team. Oh, we're ahead by a talent. We're ahead by a talent tier, and it's at the 10 talent tier. We can get more value out of that. They end up getting the front wall and the well. The next Punisher is guaranteed to spawn. Oof, Falston gets picked in the top lane. That hurt. That was a 4-man rotation for that pick. Falston just a little bit too far forward.
A heavy investment on the side of the blue team. They do come away with their first takedown of the game, though. Going to break up the rotation somewhat. They're going to send Infu by themselves on RL to the top lane just to kind of address the situation. Rotation is there from Kerrigan and Johanna to see if they can join in. But 13's around the corner. I would imagine they're just going to try to wait around for that before they really try to put the screws to the members of Who Let Vince Play. But that's a good start for Who Let Vince Play.
And as we can see, Zugrat invading the side of the map. They're looking for that fight, looking for any potential picks. They do get the stun on the Brightwing. The condemn follow-up. Blessed Shield comes out, and Brightwing is going to go down. That's a heroic invested for that pick-off. But they had 13, and it's going to give them a tempo advantage a little bit on the map. Brightwing, without that global, is not going to be able to go split soak, which is what's been keeping them even in experience for the most part throughout the duration of this game.
Huge implications as the death timers continue to grow longer and longer. Brightwing should be able to have their teleport up in time before things get too dicey. But Edward Torres again finds himself on an island, isolated and out of position. Another death on Arthas.
And this is the difference between the previous game, which was a very similar comp, but this game, they're willing to dive towers for these kills because they know they can get away with it with Ariel. They're abusing that power by constantly doing that damage, and they have Lunar to fuel that as well. They're not afraid of anything, and their positioning is so good that they're never even going to let Who Let Vince Play have a shrine fight where they can do that wombo combo. They're going to keep getting these picks by playing so aggressively on the enemy team side of the map.
Looking good so far. 21 and rising on the side of red team. I think they've cracked how to really disrupt this awkward style of composition. Just get kills before the team fights even start, and they cannot fight as 5. You're going to see the root go down on Mfu. He's going to be okay. Mighty Gus going to send some people back. Bless Shield almost gets the kill on Interconnect, but the Poison's going to be able to clear that out. Dirt Boy Dev caught forward. The root is not going to be enough to spin as much as they want. Sonya's going to go down as well. Taming Strike will land a stun on Totally Miles. And the cleanup continues.
Ends up being a 3 for none. Punisher going on. The wall is already gone, so this fort is going to go down for free. And Tassadar actually caught by the Punisher. He does have Dimensional Shift available. Will get out of this. The Cindergosa just for the disengage there. B1071 still going to die. No, he does have shield cooldown. Does shield himself and tap the well just in time. He would have died if he did even 1 second later on that shield. They do jump the wall, but the fishing hook combination through the wall. Arthas going to go down to the Punisher, and they might be able to get the keep here. They might decide to leave. They're up a talent here, but they're very low on mana. To see if they Wrath gets popped, they start to back up. They're like, we can get this later, we don't need to go through this. But the Kerrigan combo for the counter engage, Thrall ends up going down for free, and they're going to continue to pressure, maybe?
They very well could. They are up a talent tier, 3 levels and some change. We're just under that. Zugrug out front, eating a bunch of damage off the keeps. If he waits a couple seconds for the minions to show up, he's going to have a much better time. Here they are, going to land a blind on Sonya, who's trying to spin out of there. Catches the stun from Condemn. Keep falling rapidly. You're going to see the root. Crystal Aegis along with Mighty Gus is going to save him from a lot of burst damage. That was an opportunity that red team denied the members of Who Let Vince Play. But the chase is on. Another root goes down. They are able to come away to kill finally on Falstad.
That was worthwhile, though. One death for a keep is a good trade at this point in the game. Quiet Rice pretty much committed to death. That Force Wall forced him into a tight choke point, and then the root from Arthas was guaranteed to land. Really nice coordination for Who Let Vince Play. I don't know why that team name is hard to remember.
Yes, it's been kind of tripping me up too. But they're down a good amount. 11 takedowns to 2. Middle keep is down. Down a tier advantage. They're going to start to get some pressure going somewhere. Get some momentum going to pick up the siege camp. Most of their members are down in the bot lane, rotating up towards mid. Totally Miles is able to get away from Zugrug because you can believe the rotation would have been there otherwise.
Indeed. It looks like they're thinking about aggressively trying to invade the siege camp, but Team Red's like, no, we're not actually going to be doing that until Falset's alive and we're together as 5, because we're up a talent tier. We don't need to let you ambush us as 5 versus like 2 or 3 of us. We're not going to stagger our death timers. We're going to be alive and well and healthy for the shrine. All of our heroics together, no emergency saves, and we're just going to grab this camp and rotate together top as a team.
I think that's a smart call on our part. Shrine is going to be in the top lane. It's something of a benefit for the members who let Vince play. But look at that burst damage on Tassadar. He uses Prescience, has his other E, and the clap from Mfu is going to close that kill out. Kerrigan combination just misses on Totally Miles and Edward Torres. They are going to be able to get away. But without Tassadar, that's a lot of their sustain that's not going to be present. And it's going to allow the members of Red Team to just kind of roam around.
And just casually grabbing this bruiser camp on their way to zoning for Kerrigan, who's already on the shrine. She's going to be finishing that in about another 30 seconds all by herself. Meanwhile, they're just going to push the lane out as hard as they can, making sure that the Punisher has a minion wave to support it, which is going to basically ensure them another keep. And if they get enough picks pushing with this Punisher, it will be the game. So this is the opportunity that Team Red has been looking for to potentially just end.
I think it can be here. I mean, heroics are up on the side of who let Vince play. They're on even talent tier, so they do have, one really good shot. If they were able to get this kill on Kawhi Rice, that would have been huge as well, but Mighty Gus is going to secure his disengage. This is an Arcane Punisher, though. This one is the biggie, the tough guy. BO171 uses his E before any kind of damage can really get put on him. Keeps himself alive. Once this Arcane Punisher jumps over the top rope, though, it's going to get interesting.
Oh, they messed up the jump. The Punisher's on the outside of the wall. The sidewall goes down, and that's going to be 2 free kills. Tassadar and Thrall going down instantaneously. That's a guaranteed keep at a minimum at this point for, the Kerrigan with the Eviscerate range. And that is a third. They have to get that Punisher down fast to have any chance here of defending at all.
I said once that Punisher jumps over the top rope, it's going to get interesting. Red Team not making liars out of me. The Kerrigan combo with the Punisher follow. Oh, no! Arthas gets deleted off the board. And a decisive victory, along with a little bit of beat step from Hayun. Red Team is yet to drop a game.
And people were asking last game, how do you deal with that? Well, you start banning Chen, apparently. But just you kill them so they can never get to the point where they have an even fight with their heroics. Because they're really weak early game for that style of play. And it turns out that's a pretty good strategy.
Paid off for them, I can tell you that much. We're going to win game 1. And I'm wondering if our audience was even able to see this, because I'm looking over and my stream kind of stopped.
It's not you.
Well, I mean, I know it's not. I know that Twitch is overall having problems, but I think it's showing that we're offline. Interesting. Let me message man mode. Because if we're not streaming, it would be news to OBS because it's continued to stream anyway. Have to stop and restart the stream. Oh, he said everyone is down.
Yeah.
This would happen today. I guess it's been a slowly cascading progression of events. Um,
Usually in servers, that's bad.
well, like I told you during the last break, I was like, it says that there are 74 viewers total watching Heroes of the Storm, and I was like, that's not right. And then you were in Solid Jake's channel, and then I tried to go in there and it said it was offline. But we continued the stream, so I was like, all right, well, I guess whoever's just still in the channel is going to be okay. But now we don't even have that. Sham2 works at Twitch, and he's like, I'm on call this week. I asked him if he wanted to cast early, and he's like, I'm on call this week. I would imagine he got a call. So I whispered Manmood, I was like, so how do we play this? Like, I assume the teams keep playing, but we're just kind of here? And he was like, I guess so, yeah.
I mean, the streams might come up. We don't know if it's getting to Twitch but not going out live, so the VOD might still be there.
This is true. I do see Loves the Bubble in Solid Jake's chat was like, we can still see it, at least I can. So some people are getting something.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to Twitch, and then Twitch is having problems with their delivery servers to some people, but not to everyone.
Well, I guess
Loves to Bubble can still see the stream. There's some people in your chat who are like, we can still see what's going on. So
really? Okay. We'll keep on rolling then. We got the draft link set out for game 2. I would say that Who Let Vince Play had sufficiently had their snoot booped. Trying to play that Magikarp composition again.
I think playing it the next set when you know the enemy team wasn't playing, so they were probably watching, maybe a little bit of an overextension.
I mean, yeah, they showed the entire card and then just tried to walk into it again against the team that hasn't dropped a game yet. So it was arguably ambitious. But
that's one word for it.
I mean, that was tough.
Was indeed.
Let me go ahead and update the number now on the right side. This is in fact game 2. Rich Hero, I'm sure, will appreciate that. Master's ready. Ready here. Gonna flip us over to that draft though.
Which did just start.
Sweet. Tumulus Spider Queen. Alright. Short lane map. A lot of heavy rotations are possible. Definitely shift the dynamics a bit. Who Let Vince Play? They remember what happened last time, so they're going to go ahead and ban out Kerrigan. They don't want that drama. And we have yet to see Zagara make it past the first ban wave.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Sylvanas instantly picked up for Who Let Vince Play. Sylvanas has slightly weaker team fight than a lot of heroes. She trades a little bit of her power pie, as Blizzard likes to call it, for that stunning of building. So Who Let Vince Play is gonna have to play a macro strategy here to make sure they take advantage of that, which means they're gonna be drafting a lot of wave clear heroes. Red team has 2 options right now. They can draft the best wave clear heroes right now, just like take Zool plus something, Zool plus Johanna even. Or they can opt to go for pick comp and do something else. They opt for Johanna Ariel. That's pretty good. Ariel has acceptable wave clear for a support, and Johanna Ariel has a lot of sustain in lane and a lot of wave clear. So they're going to be able to keep Who Let Vince Play on the back foot with that. And it hides the other options they can pick up in terms of securing kills, because sometimes there's certain heroes that work better in terms of denying kills depending on what the enemy team picks up. They're hiding their damage card for now.
I think that's a smart play. They came roaring out of the gate with their comfort picks. Who Let Vince Play, let them get the exact composition they want, and they got bodied for it. So red team kind of withholding these cards, having Johanna Ariel gives them a lot of flexibility to where they can go a number of different ways. But that comes at a cost. Who Let Vince Play is going to pick up both Sylvanas and Zool. That is a lot of wave clear and siege pressure to consider. Red team is just going to have to start killing everybody, I think.
Yep. Once the enemy team has Zool on this map, you can't win the 4-man rotation. Because even if your wave clear is as good, like you could draft 2 heroes to match Zool's wave clear, that's what you have to do because there's no single hero that has wave clear as good as Zool's. You're behind because of the skeletons. You have to wait till Zool clears the wave before you can clear the wave to make sure the skeletons don't get value. But that automatically puts you behind in the rotation, and they're safe. So you have to kill the Zool, or just accept that you're going to be behind in the rotation, which is like that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be getting completely dictated by the enemy team's pace. Even Rhaegar picked up here Rhaegar has the best wave clear of any support with that lightning shield, except for Tassadar. But when we talk about main supports, unless we're in Europe, we're not talking about Tassadar.
Fair. I mean, yeah, EU still likes to pull that solo Tassadar stuff. It almost cost Fnatic a trip to BlizzCon. But be that as it may, Rhaegar, Zool, Sylvanas is all the wave clear that you would need in the world. Going in the second ban phase, Red Team has some options to consider. I think ETC wouldn't be the worst choice ever. They are again...
They're going to do it.
Showing respect. This actually makes a lot of sense because ETC is a beast, right? He's really strong in the current meta, obviously, but they know how to play against ETC. I'm sure it's something that they've practiced, it's something that they've executed well. But this unorthodox bunch of shenanigans and having Chin, I'm pretty sure they're like, oh, well, we're ready to deal with that. Like, let's just not deal with that. We can interrupt Mosh once every 2 minutes rather than have Chin jump all over us and make it this whole awkward thing. I get it.
I mean, they already have 2 interrupts as well. They have Condemn plus Detainment Strike. They have all the tools they need really to deal with Mosh. The Nara bend out by Who Let Vince Play. They're denying. Finally, someone's actually denying one half of that combo when it shows up in the draft. First time all day that they've not just let the Ariel to Nara combo go through.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like Red Team would want to go Thrall Greymane here. That's my theory, because Greymane is kind of a surrogate for Lunar as far as keeping Ariel topped off. Thrall gets a ton of value as a solo laner, especially on a map like this. And then in a larger scale team fight, Sundering's bad for business on everyone shown thus far on the side of Who Let Vince Play. So I don't think you'd lose too much by going double melee assassin here.
You probably wouldn't lose too much, but it means that you have to draft range for your last pick, which leaves you inflexible in terms of responding to the last 2 picks. So I want to see a ranged here, and then I'll have a bruiser, a solo laner, a support, a tank, a sufficient wave clear, and a range damage, which means their last pick can be anything they want it to be or need it to be to respond to what Who Let Vince Play is going to pick here.
It's a great point. I mean, they've gotten a ton of value out of Falstad, for sure. So, yeah, that's definitely the ideal way to go. They do pick up Falstad, Who Let Vince Play as a couple of heroes to select themselves. They still need a front line. Still need a warrior, so I'm wondering, now that Chin's off the board, now that they've ventured into this other territory, do they still try to go double support? Seemingly not with the Li Ming hover. So who's their warrior going to be?
And that's the Li Ming Zool combo. So now Who Let Vince Play in some sense has actually more kill potential in lane and better wave clear and Zool. That's a pretty good draft for Who Let Vince Play, but the problem, they don't have a strong solo laner, really. That's and if they you can't have your warrior in the solo lane, because then who's zoning for your team during the 4-man rotation?
They have a strong solo laner in Zool, but that would be such a gross underuse of his ability that it's like,
it's just such a
ouch.
waste.
You're right. Like, it's a criminal misuse of the hero, but if it comes down to it, I mean, actually, I think it would have to be Sylvanas down there by themselves. She has an escape, albeit slow, but to get the burst lineup that you want out of Li Ming, you kind of need Zool for Bone Prison. It's going to make it a lot easier to land those orbs. So
Sylvanas has no self-sustain, though, and she's going to get queued by Thrall over and over and over again. If he gets even one root off after a few of those, she's just dead. She just
Oh
keeps
yeah.
dies.
Oh yeah.
A new
I
Barak
mean,
locked in here. That is interesting. New Barak considered one of the best counters to Li Ming, but not considered a great solo tank, especially against an auto attack heroes. Thrall does a lot of damage from his auto attack. Falstad has a very fast auto attack speed, even though he usually goes Mage Stad. And then Brightwing Ariel doing it again.
they're like, all right, man, you're gonna take Lunaro away from us. That's cool. You forgot the other broken pairing, and we're gonna go ahead and help ourselves with some global. So another stun, a polymorph. Good luck trying to kill us. I mean, they have tools. They got Li Ming. Zul does a good amount of damage if you know, stacked that way. Sylvanas is an assassin with a gimmick, as the Socrates of Heroes of the Storm is one to say. I don't know, but I feel like Red Team came away with this draft.
ETC is still available.
Apparently, we have video. That's good.
Like, why New Barak over ETC or Meriden?
I don't know, man.
Or even Leoric. Leoric has the capability of being very heavy punish to Johanna because of her relative immobility. You can just drain Hope her and she's forced to leave. She can't do enough damage to threaten him, and he can kill her with Drain Hope. Why? We're gonna keep an eye on this New Barak. We're gonna keep an eye on the talent book in this New Barak. We're gonna see what it is exactly that they wanted to do there.
Well, we're gonna have to tap that analytical mind of yours. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty left-brained myself, but I don't get it. I didn't get it when the Magic card composition came out.
See, that was
just
a
feel
heroic
like-
synergy. That made a certain amount of sense. They were like, we dive in with everything at the same time, and we get a pick. We can snowball a fight.
Right.
That's how melee comps work. As long as someone's out of position, we can make something work. But this is a little different.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, what can a New Barak really do here? He doesn't have a high health pool early, so he stands to get poked. The moment he dares burrow forward, he's doing that. You know, I don't know how long he stays alive doing that, so it's just, how do they really... I guess they just gotta catch him in rotation. We'll find out oh no, these guys did switch on me. Alright. You wanna call out Red Team while I switch that around?
Sure. On the blue side of the map, we have Red Team. We have Zagrag on Johanna, Rich Hero on Thrall, Mfu on Ariel, Heyoon on Falstad, and Kawaii Rice on the Brightwing.
You might as well go ahead and do them both. I'm still trying to
On
get this
the
thing
right
over.
side, we have Hulat Binsplay, we have BO171 on New Barak, Dirty Boy Dev on Zool, Totally Miles on Rhaegar, Edward Taurus on the Sylvanas, and Interconnect on Li Ming. And in the top lane, we have Sylvanas cheesing a tower, just standard Sylvanas things. Zool staying mid, make sure that first wave. And this is it doesn't even matter if they get the tower. This is entirely about distracting so that Zool can start doing that massive lane pressure. Falstad ends up getting actually counter-killed by Hulat Binsplay. In a 5v4 scenario, Zool already clearing the bot wave. We're giving that skeleton pressure, already picking up those gems. And he's going to rotate mid now. Actually might get caught by Rich Hero. No, he gets the root. He's just trying to be annoying.
He's starting to break up on me a little bit. CG.
He's not rotating. Zool's not rotating. Zool is going to be the solo laner. They're using Zool as a solo laner.
I mean, it had to be either him or Sylvanas, and like you said, Sylvanas has no self-sustain. Not that Zool does either this early in the game, but later on he stands to have that if he takes those talents. And he has Bone Shield as well to keep himself up. Right now it's 1 takedown to 0 though. Mfu has plenty of hope. Pass that Burger King around. High units on Falstad. Zugrug eats the orb, denying the rest of the damage on the team. Condemn goes out. Magic missiles finding their home on Falstad. They do hit the minion wave this time. But this poke damage, is making itself a thing. Got to watch out for that.
You do indeed. Dirty Boy Dev is doing a really good job against Rich Hero in this bottom lane. But Rich Hero doing the standard thing. He's letting the lane push in, knowing that if Dirty Boy Dev overextends, he will be able to kill him. Dirty Boy Dev did take Shade at level 1. Bone Armor is on cooldown, however, already having to be used. And the rotation from Interconnect now. Orbs do miss. Rich Hero with the Wind Fury speed increases like, I'm out of here. You can't pull that one on me.
I really like the way Who Let Vince Play approaches Heroes of the Storm. Like they are a very unorthodox team. These are very peculiar rotations, peculiar compositions. It's really putting the members of Red Team off guard, especially on like in this map in particular when there isn't really like a destination, so to speak, and it's just more like a free-flowing fluid thing. These unusual rotations in awkward style can really start to pay off for them.
Indeed. Checking out this level 4 Nubarak talent, we do see Legion and Beetles picked up. So he's going for kind of a hybrid Beetle build. He did take the Anthem Magic at 1 because that's the best mitigation talent that a Nubarak has, and he is a tank. He's a relatively fragile tank overall, so he actually does need that. And we see this in EU occasionally, so we're probably going to see the Beetle talent at level 7 as well. And then he's going to go into some pretty standard talents at 13 and 16.
Curious to see where he goes there. I mean, the Legion of Beetles is something of a surprise to me, but it does offer to give him some sustain if he goes for that heal at 7. Both teams are at level 5. Interconnect, Edward Torres and Tully Miles hanging out in the mid lane. Richiro has been holding it down the bot lane. Dirty Boy Dev has to hit the well. 14 gems turned in for Red Team, 17 for Who Let Vince Play. I'm with you, man. That name is tripping me up.
A little bit. And we do finally see Dream Shot, by the way, picked up at level 1 for Brightwing. So getting that resets, we're going to see a full damage Brightwing and a full support so far Ariel. To see how that goes after them. The epicenter, or charging in, with Burrow Charge on BO1071 does not quite manage to secure the kill, but everyone got very, very low.
That was close. They are getting some value out of this Nubarak pick. Zugrug is over here to slow down the rotation of the Beetle themselves. Get the polymorph on him, blinded as well. He's going to start backing away. Zugrug is pretty low on mana, though. Kawaii Rice on Brightwing is actually putting themselves out there to absorb the orb. Make sure that Zugrug is going to be okay. Nice positioning on the side of Red Team.
Yeah, and that's one nice thing about coordinated play. Usually it's the tank that's taking the damage, but in a team environment, you always want to make sure, especially with Li Ming, no one dies. If you can do anything to prevent someone dying, even if it means you lose a chunk of your health, that's a good thing to do. Mfu trying to get more damage onto Edward Torres, but totally Miles there with the heal. Gonna keep allowing him to trade that damage in lane, and Zugrug is totally out of mana. He's gonna need to back, but if he knows if he leaves, his team's gonna start to fall behind in their rotation because they're gonna be missing that wave clear.
The members of Who Let Vince Play are putting them in an interesting position because that's the conundrum. Once Zugrug shows that he's gone, it's going to give the green light to Who Let Vince Play to see if they can get another takedown, maybe two. 48, 49 gems and rising in the pockets of Who Let Vince Play. But Red Team aren't far behind either. No team is really committed to trying to turn these in. I guess they're looking to get an advantage somewhere or the other. Totem goes down, slowing members down on Red Team. Edward Torres catch the polymorph, interconnect on the flank. Condemn shows up. Can Li Ming get enough damage to secure another takedown? Is targeted by Zugrug, makes himself available to stand in front of that damage. Kawaii Rice keeping the members alive on Brightwing. Tainment Strike is going to hit. This is an interesting and varied team fight so far.
It is. Both teams actually have done a lot of counter rotations trying to clear. Both teams have a strong understanding of how important wave clear is to the macro of this map and making sure that they don't miss that experience. And in particular, they don't miss those gem turn-ins. Both teams have done a really good job of zoning damage for their team, trading damage in lane, and being careful not to get too overextended. We do see a brawl in the bottom. Dirty Boy Dead versus Rich Hero has to pop Shade in order not to lose. Howan comes down with the fly, and that's going to be a dead Zool. First kill on the board for Who Let Vince Play, and all of those bottom gems are gone.
Yeah, the rotation's not going to be there in time, so those bad boys are just going to fade away. Should get the first set of Web Weavers for Red Team, and they are able to turn that in. Falstad getting value again. We've seen it all afternoon. Flies in, secures that kill. Your 1v1 suddenly stacks against you the hard way. Snowballs into big things later on.
Does indeed. And Zool, again, they don't have the lane pressure that we would normally expect a Zool composition to have because they're using him in that solo lane. We do see he did pick up Death's Reach at 4, so going for a poke style comp, might even see a full scythe build out of him. And that will negate a lot of the effect of this double healer once we get to 20 with Mortal Wound. If they're planning that far in advance with their composition and their talent choices in the draft, that's going to be very interesting. Sylvanas does get picked off, however, in the mid lane. And I don't know if we're going to get to 20 with this kind of pressure coming out from Red Team.
Yeah, I mean, they may not see their Storm tier talents at this rate. They're a full level behind. Heroics are on the board now for Red Team. Got Blessed Shield, Sundering, Crystal Aegis, Mighty Gust, and Jury's still out for Brightwing, apparently. Action still in the bot lane. Rich Hero knocking down the towers and the walls. Rest of his members of his team going to show up. They're going to at least try to get this well, I'm sure. Brightwing is in the top lane, can teleport down. Anubarak thinking about diving in here from the side. He does not land a stun, so that might have been something of a play opportunity they could have had. I think they might be able to come away with this fort if they stick around long enough.
Do an amazing Sunder into the 3-man condemned. Dirty Boy Dev gonna go down. No, he barely gets away. And Zugger completely out of mana. They can't continue to chase into this fort. They don't have that Sylvanas to disable the way that Who Let Vince Play does. Even though they don't have 10, they're forced to back off. And that's going to be a lot of value from a single turn in, though. They got pretty much all of the front walls, little tiny bit of mid left, and almost all of bottom fort is gone. And they have enough gems for another turn. If they can guard turn in and get a second turn in a row after that, they might even get all 3 forts, all of the outer structures.
And they had to be thinking, oh, nice barrel roll from Hayun to just avoid that orb. They had to be thinking that they had more to lose than to gain by staying there and trying to get the bottom fort there. They had a bunch of gems. If for some reason they got wiped there, that could have been devastating against the momentum that they set up with that above average amount of value. But here's going to be the first set of Web Weavers for Who Let Vince Play. They do have Sylvanas, they do have Zul, so they can definitely capitalize this. You're going to see the mages get popped out. Mighty Gust secures a disengage there. Value yet again out of Falstad.
Even make sure to gust the mages away.
Nobody's safe.
We're going to see Zul, Rich Hero in the bottom lane, but this time Zul has not only his skeletons pushing with him, but a Web Weaver. That's going to be impossible for Rich Hero to deal with. Doesn't have the wave clear to deal with this level of push from a Zul. And Brightwing in the top lane splitting. So there's a 4-man push mid. They're trying to make sure they get the structure value to catch up a little bit in experience. But Red Team's not missing any experience during this Web Weaver push, so they have to make sure they get structure, so they're going to end up behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time for Who Let Vince Play's composition to shine. They're putting a bunch of damage on Zugrug. Stun follow-up, Crystal Aegis is saving his bacon. Teleport in, Kawaii Rice is going to make sure he gets out of there. But the heavy commitment has to be there from Red Team because of Sylvanas. If you let Sylvanas just lock down your structure, she could by herself start knocking down your structures. So you're going to start losing things in other places.
Indeed, we just see Evertor's extremely aggressively positioned there, and Zul getting picked off again by that Hayun Rich Hero combo in the bottom lane. And every time he overextends, Hayun just flies in and gets that pick. This is why you don't have heroes like Zul as your solo laners. They don't have any escapes. If they get rotated on and they're far forward, which is if you're a wave clear hero, you're going to be far forward because you're going to be clearing the wave faster. You put yourself in a position to get that pick off. This is why we don't ever see Zul as a solo laner.
It's a really good point. I mean, and even if they put Sylvanas down there, she does have Haunting Wave, but that's a bit of a delay to get the most amount of, distance out of that. Haunting Wave could interrupt that. Sundering as well. So it's not like they even have a really strong alternative. They definitely don't want to see the Ling Ming down. They're down a full level. 13 tier advantage is enjoyed by Red Team, who looks to be getting their second set of Web Weavers. This one could hurt.
Indeed. Now, Bruiser Camp is picked up for Who Let Vince Play. That's going to help them de-push the mid lane very effectively. Zul in the bottom lane, not going to have any problem at all de-pushing that lane. Just clears the wave, gets the skeleton. Siege Giants up as well, but again, that's a Zul. He's not going to have any problem with that. Quirice in the top lane, going to push in, is going to be able to secure this fort with the Web Weaver's assistance. Got the entire wall last time. Johanna extremely low in the mid lane, does get healed up by Mfu, and both teams just sort of trying to shark around. Neither one of them wants to fight, but both of them want to manage the Web Weavers. Red Team wants to protect their Web Weavers. Who Let Vince Play wants to try and take them down as quickly as possible. Zugger actually rotating to the top, clearing the wave with his Condemn, which means that the Web Weaver goes straight onto the fort and is going to get that entire upper side of structures.
I think what's happening here is, we do see the Divine Shield. The Sundering actually makes the Condemn miss. That can have implications. A 4-person Wailing Arrow actually ends up with a kill on the support of Who Let Vince Play. The orb goes in, not able to take out Kawaii Rice. Zugrug is going to continue to zone out Edward Torres, allowing the kill to happen on Li Ming. BO171 does pick up the gem, so they do manage to have that in their favor. But that's big.
Heyoon already at 64 stacks of Gathering Storm, basically killed Li Ming from half to dead, despite the fact that she had Force Armor at level 1. Didn't have any charges up, so she'd missed her last round of missiles, and that was all it took.
2-level advantage, level 16 around the corner. We've seen red team do this all afternoon. Get ahead, never fall behind, smother enemy teams out. I was calling them Team 2 tier because and a few times we saw them up 2 actual talent tiers. They're continuing to play that well. They catch Mfu out of position. Can they dive on him and make something happen here? The Bone Prison goes down. We're going to have Brightwing show up. The rest of the members are here as well. Mighty Gust is up. If it gets too dicey, that could have been a window.
All of that work just to get 40 gems in from B1071. They just wanted the zone for him. Now they're only 15 away from the turn-in, but only 6 away from turn-in for red team, and they have it. They have 10 gems sitting around. They're just waiting for that talent here, and now they're going to start doing it. Now it's so dangerous for Who Let Vince play to try and deny this turn-in. We see Kwai Rice turning in. 4 gems to go. Mfu can go and turn in if he would like to. Looks like they're going to do that, and they're going to get a double turn-in with a talent tier advantage, pushing in to keep walls, or mostly keep walls. Top keep wall is in fact down, but mid and bottom are still there.
Web Weavers are going to get turned in thanks to Thrall down in the bottom part of the map. Chase is on in the top end. Orb goes down and hits Hayun the hard way, chunking him down. When you got Aura and Brightwing, you're going to get patched up here before too long. Web Weavers, it looks to be the red team is going to try to prioritize this top lane. And why not? This is the boss lane. No, where are they going? Maybe they're trying to throw off their opponents. But you got Zugrug alone by himself, gets some damage. Sundering goes in, isolates the Tainment Strike, follow-up on a Nubrak. Li Ming goes down. The bug gets squashed on the windshield. 2 takedowns in the blink of an eye.
Indeed, and Mage's not really doing anything at all there. Everyone just grouped up, and Mfu was like, here, I'm going to heal everyone to full. A couple of these, you'll feel right as rain does work out. Everyone's back to full health. Middle keep wall is completely gone. The well is going to go down, and they're going to easily be able to secure this middle keep with this push. The top web weaver is going to be pushing in on that keep wall as well. If they keep that up, they might be able to secure multiple keeps or possibly the game. I don't think they can get the game. I think they're going to get the keep and then rotate top. That's exactly what they're doing. And I think they can get 2 keeps off this web weaver turn-in if they get 1 more pick.
It's definitely within their sights. I'm liking the reserved play from red team. They're understanding the stakes here, but look at that burst damage on Li Ming's face. It's going to be the 8th takedown compared to just the one we saw earlier. That's the pick off you were talking about. 2 keeps off of this web weaver push. They're going to go ahead and rotate back. But like I was saying, I like this reserved play from red team. They understand the stakes. Bloodlust, this is big. Huge prize pool. Top 4 teams going on the fight for that huge amount. You don't want to throw the game when you don't need to.
Exactly. And it's just so strong. One thing we haven't talked about yet is actually Li Ming's build. We're seeing full orb build come out from Li Ming, Zay's Vengeance and Triumvirate. She's trying to stand as far back as possible and just launch orb after orb after orb, trying to wear down that double support. The problem with that is there's a lot of obstacles on this map. There's a lot of minions. There's a lot of blockers that will kind of get in the way, and we've seen some really good positioning from the team to absorb orbs when one member happened to be low. And if they rotate damage like that with a Brightwing can always get everyone topped off. The capstone for that build normally is Arcane Orbit at 16, but we're actually going to see Mirrorball instead. I don't know if Zay's Vengeance is worthwhile pickup if you don't go Arcane Orbit, but we'll have to see. It looks like they're just hoping that the resets will happen, and then Li Ming will be able to snowball the fight with Mirrorball.
I mean, we'll see. It hasn't really panned out so far. In fact, Li Ming has the most deaths on their team. Maybe not now that Sylvanas and an Uberak are going to get blown up. Crystal Age is going to save the life of Zugrug. Magic's Missile is not able to close that out. Mighty Gust blowing them away. They're not going to be able to capitalize the slow. There might have been more on the table for red team if that Mighty Gust didn't come through.
Indeed, there would have been, but force them out of position. Positioning is so important here as the Storm. Hayden going to go top right away, get the boss started. This is going to be a free boss for red team, pushing in an open lane that has nothing but a tower left. The keep is down. Catapults will be pushing with it, and they can't quite turn in. So this is what they're going to do. This is going to be an even talent tier fight, however, for the Vince play. If they can, I don't know what Zul's doing. He's going on that point. But there's no way Zul, especially with that talent build, does anything at all but die right there. That is 2 free kills.
I mean, that's game, right?
That is game.
A
That
little
is
bit of B stepping
100%
from
game.
him, Fu. You like your little cheeky magic carp composition? We got that. Red team definitely showing some personality on this. Level 20 is around the corner. If they were going to try to go for that Hail Mary, and in a lot of ways I feel like they had to, with the top keep already being taken down, this boss pickup was more or less going to be the death knell one way or the other. But having Rhaegar mid soaking while you're doing it, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication on comms there. Some people were like, boss, 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 they're going to get boss, we need to get boss, we're going to lose. And some people were like, we need to soak, we have dead, we can't take any sort of fight. Level 20 locked in Mighty Gust plus Wind Tunnel, just forcing everyone back into the safety of their altar, while Core is 6v1 if you count the boss for free. And that will be GG, and the set goes over to Red Team, who is blue.
Red team on blue.